Yes, hello. I'm here with my friend LL. And so before we started recording, we did a little bit of exercise and stretching, just like body weight squats and push-ups and things. So I invite the reader or the viewer or the listener to do that if you'd like, just to kind of get a little exercise and increase your alertness a little bit. And then now we're going to do something a little bit different that we're thinking about continuing to do, which is to do a little bit of meditation and then a contemplative practice of zooming out that helps to develop your perspective. And then we'll talk a little bit about our spiritual lives and just whatever we might have been dealing with recently in some general terms. And then we'll read a little passage from Marcus Aurelius at the end of the meditations and seemingly at the end of his life as well that he wrote. Uh, so yeah, this will all have chapter markers, so you can skip through any or all of the contemplative and other practices that you'd like. But we'll go ahead and start. So uh, we'll just do a little bit of breathing meditation for a couple of minutes. So you can close your eyes or just partially close your eyes, and we'll do a little bit of progressive relaxation, just starting from the top of your body. Just kind of relax the muscles of your face, kind of around your eyes, your jaw. Kind of relax your ears and the back of your head down to your neck. Just kind of relax your shoulders, relax your arms, your hands. Just try to relax your upper back and your middle back, your lower back. And just relax your chest, your belly, then your hips, your seat, and down to your upper leg, and then your lower leg and your feet. So you're a little nice and relaxed now. Then take a few deep breaths in and out. Deep breaths in and out. Now we'll just concentrate on our breath. Just focus on the place where you notice it the most. Try to notice your breath from the beginning all the way to the end. When your mind wanders and you notice it, you can do a quick labeling, like you just had a thought, thinking, or worrying, and then bring yourself back to your breath. If you'd like to continue the breathing meditation, you can pause this recording and set a timer, and then return when you're done. Okay, so we'll go ahead and stop the breathing meditation and do a contemplative practice. This is zooming out progressively, and this is supposed to help build your perspective. So I will just read a script about zooming out and try to really imagine yourself doing this. So you can close your eyes if you'd like. Take a deep breath, relax, sink into the surface beneath you. So notice the sensation of your body. Feel the points of contact. Bring your awareness to the feeling of your breath flowing in and out. Just be here, fully in this physical experience. And now let's zoom out of the room. Imagine yourself floating up out of your body and out of this room. See the room from above. See it getting smaller as you rise higher. You are now floating above the building. Now you're floating above your neighborhood. Really see all of this. Then you float higher and you're above your city. Your personal space, your immediate concerns are now a tiny part of a much larger picture. Now continue to rise. See your country. See your continent. Continue to rise. The entire planet Earth is below you. It's a vibrant blue and green sphere in the darkness of space. Notice its vastness, its beauty, and your small place within it. Remember that there is a part of you connected to this entire world. Now keep going. Let your perspective expand to the solar system. See the planets in their orbits, the sun at the center. From here, the planet Earth is just one small part. Imagine yourself rising even higher, past the solar system, out into the vast, starry expanse of the universe. From this cosmic distance, the challenges and details of your life may seem different. Can you feel the immensity of everything? Can you remember that there is a part of you that is infinite, that has existed for eons and will continue to exist? Now, slowly, gently begin to return. Come back down, past the stars, past the solar system, back to the blue and green sphere of Earth. Come back to your body. Feel yourself settling back into your physical form, into the present moment. Take a few more breaths now, feeling the sensations in your body. Bring the feeling of vastness and peace back with you, but anchor it in your physical experience. Feel your heart. Feel your feet on the floor. You can carry this expansive perspective with you into your daily life. When you're ready, gently begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Take one last deep breath in, and as you exhale, slowly open your eyes, returning to the room completely present. So that was a zooming out contemplative practice designed to help give one perspective. Um, ha- had you done that before, Lisette? I mean,
Mm,
LL, excuse me.
no, I hadn't done that one before. I
How
liked it.
did you like that?
I liked it. It kind of reminded me of those dreams I would have where I was like floating out in my body and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I wondered a little bit about that actually. Were you really able to kind of visualize really going out, zooming out?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you probably would be able to do it better than me, even if I were not reading the script, uh, because your focus is so much better than mine. But I was still able to kind of zoom out a little bit and to really see it and feel it some. Yeah. Do you feel like that will help you with having a sort of more God's eye perspective on your existence?
Mm, yeah, I think so. It does feel more grounding, even though you're not on the ground.
Yeah.
Imagine it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Mm,
that's kind of some of the paradoxes of
yeah.
spiritual practice, it's, you know, in a way you're supposed to be more just a body and in your body on the ground with your feet on the
Mm,
ground. But at the same time, you have a perspective where you're not preoccupied with this existence and the worries of your mind and all of
mm,
that. But yeah, there's some way to sort of thread the needle and to be both of those in the best way and kind of have a flow to life. So we were going to talk a little bit about just basically our spiritual lives, and that doesn't mean any particular dogma or relation to a deity, but more just kind of what things have been maybe worrying or troubling or how we've sort of wisely or philosophically kind of dealt with our lives. Is there something that you thought of that you might want to
mm,
talk about in some general way that you could talk about in public?
mm. Not really, just for me, spirituality and dogma are always kind of linked, at least in my experience.
Yeah, you grew up
Um,
Catholic.
yeah, yeah. So then the question I've had for a while now is, do I just kind of figure things out by myself, or should I just go back and go back to it and um, continue developing spirituality from that again?
Mm.
So
I
yeah,
mean,
that's always on my mind a little bit all the
mm.
time.
Well, it sounds like you should talk to someone about that. There's
Mm,
lots of people that have your kind of struggle already. And I think some of it is maybe a false dichotomy, perhaps by how, the Catholic teaching kind of, at least from what you've told me, kind of restricts people coming to it or back to it if they're not following certain dogma or something.
mhm.
But
Yeah.
you know what I kind of think of that. I mean, I think one should respect the tradition and all of that, but at the same time, the spiritual life is not so much about beliefs and particular actions or anything like that. Not that
Mhm.
ethics isn't an important thing and what, morality, but yeah. But either way, I think you agree that spiritual life is not simply whether one is part of a particular church or not, but
Mhm.
has a bigger kind of philosophical wisdom,
Mhm.
enlightenment or aspect. And so just in terms of that, how have things been going? Have there been things that you felt really truncated your mind or made you reactive or things like that? Or have there been things that helped to expand your perspective or increase your compassion? How have you
Mm,
dealt with challenges?
well, I think ever since for a while after I wasn't really following the Catholic stuff all the time, like I kind of was stagnant for a while and maybe worse than now, but up until a few years ago, like I've kind of been looking at the a lot of the wisdom and philosophies of kind of other traditions, so and kind of uh comparing and uh learning about their ideas of what makes a good life. Um,
Okay. Yeah,
so I
good.
think it's been expanding still in other ways. And it isn't like where I'm like completely stuck or lost necessarily all the time.
That's good. But just in terms of concrete daily life, what kind of if in general ways you want to talk about any struggles or sort of increases in compassion or anything?
Mm, well, I think lately or maybe all the time. Yeah, there's just people in my life just think making what I view as bad decisions or not living the way I think they should live. So,
Yeah.
um,
And just to be clear, they're pretty obviously very bad decisions. We're not saying you're taking a very nuanced kind of judgmental perspective
mhm,
on someone that could be doing marginally better things. It's not like that.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, so I noticed like I have a lot of kind of, or I've had a lot of when I'm not dealing with it well, like a lot of resistance to that, and um,
Can you speak
yeah,
in
it's kind of
general?
pain.
Can you speak in general about the situation to give a little more idea of what you're talking about?
Or just people I know making really bad relationship choices, uh, or um, or for example, other people kind of jeopardizing their medical treatment um, at the job I work at. So just things like that that will obviously have like a big impact in your life, if not immediately, but sometime in the future.
Yeah.
So just big decisions uh,
And in your
in
personal
general.
life, even that that could lead to even violence or something like that, like
Hmm.
pretty pretty poor decisions.
Hmm. So yeah, like yeah, when I'm not uh, dealing with it in a while, like I just feel a lot of resistance to the decisions they're making, and it's kind of painful. Uh,
Yeah.
it kind of a painful feeling. Um, so yeah, I've just had to, I guess the spiritual stuff I've been working on is maybe just learning to accept I can't impose my will on
Yeah.
other people. And
Yeah.
I kind of have to kind of stop resisting and kind of creating that kind of pain for myself by focusing on it and kind of fixating on that.
Yeah. And you've had some success with healthy distancing from.
Distancing, but also like I've learned about the Buddhist idea of resistance and how that creates a lot of our inner turmoil. So I kind of noticed that resistance I was feeling
Can you
when I
talk about
see
that? That sounds
um
good to know.
um well I feel like I don't really have a maybe thorough understanding of it, but yeah, I just learned about the idea of resistance and from Buddhism, and um it's I think from my understanding it's kind of maybe just not accepting uh, reality as it is. Um,
Yeah.
and when we can't do that, we're causing ourselves more suffering and pain.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I was kind of doing that a lot, which led to a lot of like painful feelings whenever I saw people doing what I think they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Um, so
Can
yeah,
mm.
just mhm.
Well, I was just going to say, can you specify? I mean, resistance isn't like complete passivity, right? Like if there's something
Mm-mm.
that you can say or do that is helpful or is helping to give people perspective, it's not like you should just throw up your hands completely at the beginning, right? You can try to
Yeah.
do some things.
Hmm. Um, oh yeah, I think yeah, it's a yeah, well yeah, I think there's like a limit to it, but I think this maybe they're talking more about it to the point where it creates problems for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah, just to get
yeah,
that out of the way.
yeah. When it's like unnecessary suffering, yes,
Yeah.
and pain.
Well, can you talk about how you kind of dealt with that resistance in yourself and how you kind of, what would you say you got more to a place of acceptance, kind of
Well, the first thing I
compassion?
learned after the resistance was the teachings were kind of emphasizing being able to notice and observe it because we don't a lot of the time. Most of our lives, we're not noticing
Yeah,
that, even though it's there all the time
yeah,
for most of us. Yeah, I just started becoming more mindful of when I think I'm resisting something, whatever that may be. So I've started observing and noticing it more, and then I realized I was kind of doing that in these instances I described.
yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, that's good to know that we will be resisting and we won't know it. I think I do that, and it's because I don't know it because I immediately jump to judging and kind of justifying
Hmm.
the judgment instead of noticing what's behind that, which is resistance instead of the acceptance of what this person that you
Hmm.
think could be doing better is
Hmm.
doing, or some frustration about their character or something.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, and then I started noticing and even little things, like procrastinating on stuff I'm supposed, well, not, that's actually a big thing too for a lot of us, but yeah, it's just very, it can be very subtle when you don't know what to look for at first. But yeah, I started noticing more in kind of
How did you
everyday life.
notice? How did you start to notice that resistance?
Uh, I think when I started noticing thoughts where I would kind of maybe that kind of implied that I was finding something painful. So with like procrastination, the thought was like I didn't want the suffering of like the effort or something. Um, so
Mm.
whenever I
So
felt
just to
like
be clear, you're
yeah,
talking now about having resistance to doing something that you need to do. You're not talking about
mhm.
people in your life anymore, other people.
Oh no, this is just like another example, but
Okay.
yeah, kind of sidetracked.
Okay. Yeah.
But um, so yeah, I think I noticed resistance more in general when I started kind of observing what's hurting or what feels painful. That kind of helped clue me in on what when I was resisting.
So are you doing some type of meditation where you're noticing feelings or something, noticing emotions?
Uh, I can't say maybe something for meditation specifically, though that really helps, but it's more because um at work they made me do they're making me do a self-compassion group where there's a whole section on resistance.
Oh,
So
wow.
that brought it
Okay.
more to my attention.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me more about that resistance? Yeah, how do you notice resistance of a situation or a person?
Um, yeah, well, I think like more kind of noticing where when there's pain. I'm not sure how to explain it, but there's like a for me, yeah, it's helped just noticing like what feels painful, like
Mm,
whether that's like mentally or I don't know, psychologically. Uh,
mm,
it's kind of hard to explain.
mm.
Um,
Yeah, that's fine.
but sometimes the pain kind of feels physiological too, so that helps me notice too. Like
Yeah,
sometimes I'll feel it in the chest area
yeah.
or something. But usually where there's kind of pain, there's kind of resistance a lot of the time. So that kind of clues me in to when I'm maybe there's something I'm not accepting.
Mm. So with the resistance that you do in procrastination, um, how did you deal with that? And did it help you? Did this teaching, this application of it help you?
I'm not sure I've completely resolved that, um but yeah, like I noticed that procrastination, I was feeling pain at the thought of the effort I would have to exert.
Oh, well,
Um,
I'm glad you admit to that because I have had that all my life.
yeah, so I noticed I was feeling pain that way when I started observing the thoughts, because the thoughts kind of you don't probably tell yourself directly, but you kind of there's kind of it's kind of there in behind like beneath those the thoughts.
Yeah.
Just this fear of pain.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I think a lot of things that we consciously notice are secondary or tertiary. It's
mhm,
not the primary. Um, I was hearing, you know, several weeks ago, Donald Robertson, I think he's a Stoic philosopher and a psychotherapist and life coach. And he was talking about anger, and anger is usually a secondary emotion, but people
mhm,
usually think of it as primary. I have anger, I'm
mhm,
angry, I'm an angry person,
mhm,
I'm a grumpy person, whatever, or this
mhm,
other person is. But it's usually secondary. It's because of
mhm,
maybe a fear or pain or desire that you
mhm,
have, and you're getting angry because of your reaction to that
mhm,
other emotions or and thoughts.
mhm,
So it's important to be able to notice that what often you're consciously aware of is not, it is a reaction to something else that you
mhm,
kind of very momentary that happened already inside.
mhm, mhm. So yeah, like I started noticing my thoughts were superficial, and I would have to like kind of go beneath layers and layers to kind of realize that the bottom line was I was just fearing pain or feeling pain at for whatever reason it
Mm.
may be.
You're talking about pain of doing kind of not that interesting work or studying.
Yeah, pain of like effort or maybe pain and not being able to kind of control what people do or something like with their lives
Yeah.
or pain at having to see uh, the outcome of that. Yeah.
So you recently, yeah, had to kind of help a situation that involved more than one person, several people. And do you feel like you kind of were less resisting and that kind of helped everyone get through the situation?
Mm. Well, I think in the moment I was pretty level-headed, so I just kind of directed people on what to do.
Yeah.
But I think there's still some resistance left because I'm of course, I don't want the person to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Um, but
I mean, you have
but
to
I
have
think,
wisdom, right? Like it's not like they should keep doing what they're doing,
mhm,
but the acceptance or the lack of resistance is more like knowing that you can only do what you can do and then just drop it after that. And you cannot, with your thoughts, I mean, it's like we have magical thinking or something, and it's almost as if we think with our thoughts that if we just think hard enough, then we can change the situation.
mhm, mhm, mhm. So yeah, I think I'm doing better than before. I'm just kind of recognizing that it's a pattern, and yeah, I can only do what I can, like you said.
Yeah, yeah, that's really
It's
good.
still like not perfect though, and I still have moments where I know I am kind of resisting, but I think that's um it's kind of easier to overcome and not focus on so much anymore.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, for me, not resisting can be hard. I'm pretty sensitive, and there's a lot of things that annoy me with my living situation or the people that I'm around a lot of noise and things that I can kind of resist or kind of judge a lot or uh and but yeah, I do notice when many times when I'm able to just let it pass by and let it happen. And then also a lot of times that means I'm more open to the situation or people and I can be nicer. And that can help a lot. My own feelings, and it seemingly helps the whole interaction and everything. Um, but yeah, when I'm able to kind of to not resist what's happening, I immediately feel peace. And then it's not because I'm enacting the peace, but it's more like I'm just not making the things that were making me perturbed uh, happen in my head anymore. So, yeah, that's a resistance is a very good thing to know about. But yeah, you have other thoughts about this? Sounds like this is something that was very good to learn about.
Mm, not so far, but yeah, I guess I'll keep learning more about it because
Okay.
I don't think I understand it perfectly yet, of course. Right.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
kind
it's
of always something to kind of a work in progress.
yeah. Yeah, that seems good to kind of keep checking in about and to try to understand more deeply. So
Yeah.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's something that could fade if you don't keep thinking going back to it occasionally. So I think, yeah, every once in a while, like it's good to like kind of refresh yourself.
Yeah. Does that course on self-compassion, does that have like a recommendation around that, like to put it on your calendar every month or every 3 months to do a
Mm,
journal entry or a contemplation or something
like there's
or a
exercises on
conversation?
there that involve journaling. I just don't remember for that one in particular, but
Oh,
they
okay.
have journal entries and meditations um, from their book website.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think the whole course was created by a licensed psychologist or therapist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let us know about that in the future if you learn more about that. That's kind of
Mhm,
something that maybe you and I can keep talking about.
mhm. Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
called the, sorry, I was gonna get, I think it's called the
yeah.
Self-Compassion Workbook, and it's like an actual program that this professional created and had successful results with for
Oh,
many
okay.
people. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah,
seems backed by research
that's
and
good.
results.
Did it help people in your group at all? Have you heard anything from them?
Mm, yeah, I think I've had people tell me they enjoyed the exercises and the journal entries. So I think they're getting something out of it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I might journal about that myself. So we've been talking, so you and I both sometimes read Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. He's a Stoic philosopher and emperor a couple thousand years ago. And he was known as one of the good emperors. He really was good in that capacity as well. Um, but these are short journal entries that were never intended for publication. And I thought I might just read the last entry. So this is his last several entries are about death. And it seems like he knew that he was dying and that he did die soon after making this last entry. I thought we'd kind of read it and talk about it a little bit. Um, Mortal man, you have lived as a citizen in this great city. What matter if that life is 5 or 50 years? The laws of the city apply equally to all. So what is there to fear in your dismissal from this city? There is no tyrant or corrupt judge who dismisses you, but the very same nature that brought you in. It is like the officer who engaged a comic actor dismissing him from the stage. But I have not played my 5 acts, only three. True, but in life, 3 acts can be the whole play. Completion is determined by that being who caused first your composition and now your dissolution. You have no part in either causation. Go then in peace. The God who lets you go is at peace with you. Yeah, so here you see him a little bit like the contemplation we did at the beginning of the podcast. He's seeing himself in context, in both
Mhm.
space and time. He's seeing himself as a citizen in the city. He's seeing himself with the knowledge that he will die. He gives metaphors about that. It's not a corrupt judge or a tyrant who dismisses you. And yes, he talks about himself as being in an ultimate context with the creator and being part of a great chain of causation. Something caused him and he will cause other things. And it's part of this whole process. And also, there's this stoic, little bit like what we were talking about with resistance, this stoic idea that you're not in ultimate control. It says you have no part in either causation. So, yeah, if there's no decision to be made, I cannot decide to keep living. I will die. I did not decide to be born. It happened. It was part of this great chain of causation, and it will keep going on past my death and way past my death, way past the time I will ever be forgotten. Um, or way past the time I would ever be remembered, way past the time I'm first forgotten completely. So then, yeah, isn't it the case that you should just be at peace with it and not worry? There's nothing to worry about in terms of being able to, yeah, keep yourself going to prevent your own death or anything like that. It's just going to happen, right? So why burden your consciousness with it? So then, yeah, go then in peace. The God who lets you go is at peace with you. And according to the introduction, I have the Penguin Classics edition. Um, he really did believe in a God. It wasn't his metaphorical way of talking. He like many Stoics, I guess he had this kind of more general kind of God, a little bit like the later kind of Christian God. Uh, Or I guess at this time Christianity was a thing. It just wasn't very popular or anything. Um, some kind of general good God. It wasn't like the old Greco-Roman gods that are very human-like with all kinds of passions and pettiness and all that stuff and interests. But yeah, do you have initial thoughts on this?
Mm. Just the initial thought, I was noticing a metaphor where he was comparing natural life to citizenship.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, he was very much about duty,
mhm,
right? About uh playing your role well, doing what you're supposed to do, serving the common good, which is very
mhm,
good for an emperor to kind of have that philosophy.
mhm,
Any kind of leader.
mhm,
And yes, he really was a good leader of the empire and also himself. Another metaphor he gave was that of an actor, and he said a comic actor. It is like the
mhm,
officer who engaged a comic actor, dismissing him from the stage. But I have not played my 5 acts, only three. True, but in life, 3 acts can be the whole play. So that seems to point to, I have something in mind that I was going to do from start to finish, and now someone's cutting me off in the middle. But that person explains to me, this is life. This is not just a stage.
mhm. Yeah, like we can't be attached to our preconceived ideas of what it should have been or be.
Yeah. And the fact that he talks about it as an actor on stage, yeah, there's maybe a sense of narcissism or selfishness about that
Mhm,
because you didn't just want to live, but maybe you wanted to be seen living. You had other things besides just living as part of the natural causal chain in mind.
mhm,
But yeah, it's weird. I was talking to you yesterday, I think, about coming to terms with death, and I mentioned something from the Taoist Chuang-Tzu. And this man, I forgot the details, but he had walked into a tomb or something like that.
mhm,
And there had been a skull there, a human skull, and he had fallen asleep on it with it as a pillow, which is already kind of a funny image. But he had had this dialogue with this skull in his dream, and the skull basically it's like he assumed, I think, that the skull would want to be alive if he could be. And the skull was it was funny, maybe this is cultural, but he was polite to him, calling him sir and everything, but 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 the skull dismissed the idea of coming back to life, and he rightly pointed out that you have no idea uh that whether life or death is actually better. You assume it's better to be alive. And maybe it's because we're scared. We have a natural survival instinct. Of course, that's nature does that. So that's part of the whole struggle for survival. But, you know, we don't actually know what it is to be dead. And we therefore have no idea that whether or not it's actually as good as being alive or better than being alive. And this Taoist story seems to point to that. And so the skull says, sir, you have no idea. When I was alive, I had so many worries and concerns. I was always trying to get this and that done. Now I don't have to worry about any of that. I'm just in eternal rest. I'm just totally at peace. And I was telling you that, I have not died, obviously, as far as I know, but, you know, we've all been in surgery or at least in deep sleep at some point. And when I've come out of those, sometimes I've been still had some memory of being in them. And yeah, I had no desire to wake up, it's just totally in deep, dark rest and totally content, right? I mean, you may be laughing because, you know, we both know how much you like sleep. So perhaps, I mean, you could probably speak volumes about this to my drops. You probably have oceans of of data about how good sleep is and maybe how good eternal sleep is. But I don't know. Do you want to talk about that?
Uh, I guess I don't have much to say. I just like sleep and not doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I
And
mean,
I
that
like
is,
dreaming, so maybe not completely at rest, but I'm okay with not dreaming too.
mm. And yeah, you do have some pretty crazy dreams.
Yeah, I remember the one time though I actually blacked out, and yeah, I felt completely fine when I woke up. Like it was kind of like peaceful.
Yeah,
I
it's
had
weird.
that peaceful feeling when or that, like you said, that kind of sense that it was just so peaceful and
Yeah.
not that bad at all.
Yeah, exactly, right? You had no desire to wake up even, right? Or no desire to even see. Like I remember it being black, but having not caring at all. Even though
Mm-hmm.
I love beauty, I love seeing beautiful things. I love seeing the world around me and seeing a long way away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Really enjoy that, but at the same time, maybe there is a little bit of pain to that.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of unpleasantness where I have to be watching, I have to be alert, I have to have I have to have cognizance of what is happening or what could be happening, but
Mm-hmm.
there's none of that when you have deep rest, You don't, you
Yeah.
really don't care. So, yeah.
Yeah, when I say blacked out, I actually mean like medically blacked out. I'm not using it as another term for sleep. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was like very peaceful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I heard a near death experience. People can look NDEs up if they want to, and it's very interesting. You probably don't want to go your life without knowing about any of these. There's many of them. It's this whole research category and there's all kinds of accounts of it. There's probably a lot of frou-frou kind of wishful thinking that people also say and write about it. So, try to look for the kind of more grounded and
Mhm.
intelligent accounts. But anyway, yeah, I remember hearing a near-death experience uh, by a famous podcaster, actually, Mr. Ballin. You told me about him, or I saw him on Chris Williamson's podcast or something. But anyway, he was in the military and he was shot, I think, or it was a grenade or something. But anyway, he lost so much blood that later the medic told him that he was something like 30 seconds away from dying if he had not had a blood transfusion or had not had a tourniquet applied or something like that. And he said his experience, so he was knocked out, of course, and his experience was that he knew he was dying and he was totally okay with it. And he was just considering, like, he had some like kind of ego thoughts about what his funeral would be like or what the account in the newspaper of his life, the obituary would be, something like that, and
Mhm.
something about his wife and kid. But yeah, it was just kind of, these are the last moments of my life. I'm just kind of thinking about what it's going to be like for others after me. And There's no sort of, perturbance, no sort of getting upset about it at all. It's just something he accepted. And this makes sense. I mean, this is how, I mean, animals die, right? Dog will just go off into the woods. In that Netflix series, Chimp Empire, I think it's Jackson, maybe. One of the previous alpha males who has been kind of fallen from his position and has been gravely injured. He goes a little ways off in the woods and kind of covers himself with branches and leaves, and then he just passes away.
Mm.
So I think it's something maybe that we just all know, but we humans have kind of forgotten it. And we have all sorts of schemes and plans and all that stuff that maybe sort of screw us up.
Mhm.
And we just, have to get back to natural knowing maybe. Well, yeah, good conversation. Do you have any more thoughts about this?
Not so far, but it's such a big topic. I'm sure there'll be more thoughts
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, that sounds good. And yeah, remind us later of this idea of this Buddhist idea of resistance and how we can kind of use it to better master our life and to reduce our suffering and everything.
Mm.
Okay. Well, it was good talking to you. And yeah, I'd like to do more of these again where we do a little bit of exercise and stretching and then meditation, contemplation, and then go on to the main topic after that, if
Sounds
you want
good.
to. Okay. Well, thank you and take care.